My name is Scott McCaffrey, and I'm a mental health professional by day and a paranormal investigator by night. Over the past 11 years, I've been learning to take the skill set of helping others and apply it to my ongoing investigations into the paranormal. With my buddy Rex and an assortment of friends and family, I am on a mission to contact the echoes of history and potentially solve the mysteries they left behind. I never thought this little church in the middle of small-town Indiana would be the most disturbing location I'd ever investigated. And it's not because of the horrors that happened in this building, but it's more because of the horrors that are attached to the guy that this building is now named after.
My name's Dan Allen, and I'm president of STOP, Saving the Old Properties, acronym STOP. We get these properties and we want to show the people, even of today, what it was like to live long ago. Last one we saved is this place, Jim Jones Boyhood Church. Good or bad, this is history.
As unfortunate as it is, you can't talk about the Jim Jones Youth Church without talking about the Jonestown Massacre. I know a lot of you have probably heard, "Don't drink the Kool-Aid" is a saying. Unfortunately, this massacre, the Jonestown Massacre, is what led to that quote coming into being. In 1978, Jim Jones had many of his followers drink Kool-Aid that was laced with cyanide. On that day, over 900 people lost their life because of one man's mental delusions of grandeur.
This is where Jim Jones, as a child, went to church up until about the age of 16. Then once he turned 16, his family, for whatever reason, decided to up and move to a different part of Indiana. Then you get into about the 1950s, and that's when Jim Jones started his own church that he named the People's Temple.
So shortly thereafter, he moved out to San Francisco. Once him and his followers got out there, a lot of different allegations started coming out, whether it be fake miracles, people having to give up their children. It wasn't a super good look for him. So he decided to head to South America, where he made a small village for him and his followers.
Unfortunately for Jim Jones, just because you moved to South America doesn't mean that the accusations against you stop. If anything, they continued to grow, and international interest in what was going on at Jonestown just continued to grow along with his notoriety. So as these investigations into these various misdeeds continued going, a United States Senator eventually went down to Guyana to see for himself what the People's Temple was really all about. And while he was there, I don't remember what exactly happened, but Jim Jones decided that he needed to stop this guy from leaving and telling anybody about what's actually happening at the People's Temple. So he ordered the murder of this United States Senator and several people at this airport before they could get on a plane and leave. Then, really shortly after that, this supposed man of God, the supposed guy who's trying to help, decided that the best way to help his people was to convince them to drink a whole bunch of poison Kool-Aid and murder themselves rather than face the wrath of what the real world was going to do when they found out what was happening down in Jonestown.
And just doing all the research about Jim Jones, it was like, well, that's not what I've always been told. So we're trying to keep the history as it really was. I mean, Jim Jones is supposed to be this bad guy. We're supposed to, have all this evil stuff, and we're not finding it. Not that we wanted to, because we're after the truth. So he really did a lot of good before he did the bad. Tried to get everybody off the streets. He didn't want people living on the streets. He gave them a home, gave them a family in the churches, and he adopted several children. And pretty much out of each ethnicity, Jim Jones Jr. is a black guy. In the 1950s, that was unheard of. That was just too radical, even though the Bible says to do so. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why he kept getting booted down till we end up in California. So I think people need to revisit his background and see what he was really like prior to that. I may be wrong too. I don't know. He might have been just a jerk the entire time. Keep doing my due diligence on finding the history, because that's what we're about.
One of the places I've always wanted to investigate has been a haunted church. Now I know what you're thinking, grab your pitchforks and torches and come mob me down. No, you got it all wrong. it intrigues me almost. When you have a place that's on consecrated ground, how do you end up with a haunting? And of all hauntings, Jim Jones, one of the most sadistic, evil people, at least in my opinion, history has ever had to offer. The next thing I want to bring to your attention is why. Why, of all places, would he be here?
Originally, the Jim Jones Church was not a location that we thought we were ever going to get access to. We originally came to Indiana because we had another location that we had in mind, but things ended up happening and the owner of that property offered us the Jim Jones Church instead. Now, that is not an opportunity that you pass on.
But the one picture that, they caught that picture live here, it looked like a kid, looked just like Jim Jones as a child. So could he be the person that's making all the noises and stuff here?
One of the things that I've always wanted to do with Jim Jones, if I ever got a chance to actually talk to the guy, would be to sit down and have him listen to the entire broadcast of the Jonestown Massacre, which is available online. You can find it anywhere. It's real easy. It's free. You can get it very, very quickly. And I would want to see what his reaction would be if I played this for him. Now that you have lived it, now go back and listen to it. And what would you think going back now with all these years in between? What would your perception change at all? Like, how would you react? So I told Rex when we got this location that one of the first things that we have to do, and our big experiment for tonight, is we are going to go into that chapel where he went till the age of 16, and we are going to play the broadcast of the Jonestown Massacre in this chapel to Jim Jones and whoever else may be there to finally find out what the hell his reaction might be to all the horrible things that he did.
So there is a lot of thuds and just loud thuds. We'll be in the basement, just rattle the floor from above, and somebody will be upstairs in the attic and they hear it just rattle on the floor downstairs. So they come up to the first floor and we didn't hear anything. That's happened so many times. While I'm here cleaning, I'll hear doors slamming downstairs. I've never heard them upstairs, or even first floor. It always seems to come from downstairs, and I'll 2 or 3 times I'll go down. There's no doors that even closed, so I don't know what it is. I've heard women talking. We don't know if are we dealing with spirits? Okay, as a Christian, I'm not supposed to think that way. Einstein and Tesla both said time is not linear. So it's 1831 as well as 3010 as we're speaking. Could that be, are we looking into another dimension? Is time happening all around us?
So before our first patrol, we decided we're going to go get some food. Mainly because we were going to get food before and somebody navigated us to the wrong place. It was me. So we leave. While we're gone, it takes a while to get food. And we come back expecting the building to be quiet by all accounts. We're not in there stirring stuff up. But believe it or not, while we were gone, we got quite a bit of activity.
About 12 minutes after we left, we caught this weird-looking light anomaly in the upper right-hand side of the screen on our static camera watching the kids' room in the back of the chapel. Now, we're not entirely certain what this light anomaly is. All we can say for certain is that there was nobody in this building while we were gone, and in no other time in the 5.5 hours we were filming in this room did we catch anything that looks like this. So what is it? Let us know what you think down in the comments below. We also decided, since our intern Boo Buddy doesn't need to worry about eating, we decided to leave him behind to do some investigating on his own. Now, for those of you that have never used the Boo Bear device before, he's actually got 3 different things that he does that really makes him a very useful tool for paranormal investigators. The first thing is he'll try to give voice prompts to try to get audio responses from something in the environment. The second thing is he has a thermometer built into him where he can sense fluctuations in temperature anywhere near him. And the third thing, and probably the coolest thing, is that he's got touch sensors built into him, so if something actually touches him, he will give a verbal reaction to let you know that something is interacting with him. So let's go ahead and check on Boo Buddy and see what was going on with him while we were gone.
Another big thing we got while we were gone are bumps in the attic. Now, mind you, we're probably traipsing through this town looking for food at the time, so the building is completely empty. Nobody was there aside from us all night.
we're going to go try to do some Marco Polo and see if we can get some spirits to come out and communicate with us. Okay, watch your ears. Okay, here we go. Marco! If you're going to do a Marco Polo session on a paranormal investigation as a technique, one of the things you want to do is get yourself a really good spirit box. Now, a spirit box, for those of you that have never used one before, is basically a modified AM/FM radio that sweeps up and down the bandwidth repeatedly, going ch-ch-ch-ch-ch-ch, and every time you hear one of those ch-ch, that's the radio skipping over a radio station. It creates a whole bunch of noise that a spirit supposedly can take and manipulate to say anything it wants to you through all of that static and all that noise. Now, we've gotten words and phrases that you would never hear on an AM/FM radio ever, because the FCC would be all over it like a fat kid on a cupcake. So we've had enough experiments with this that we feel very confident this is something that's legit. All right, heading up into the chapel area, the first floor. Hello, whoever's up here. My name is Scott. Just said, hey, Scott.
Got it, good.
I'm Scott. This is Rex. If you'd like to come out and communicate with us, that's what this device is right here. We're going to try to hear your voice. Marco.
I heard everybody whisper sweet things.
It's probably me setting it off. How's it going in there, everybody?
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
Did you hear that little kid come through the box?
Yeah, I did.
Sounded like
I did. I think just it's Scott again. Did you say it's getting colder, or did you say it's warmer?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let's keep walking around. Marco! Sounded like a voice was trying to come in and say Polo. Marco! Shout out?
No, that's a Polo.
Oh, I thought it said shout or something.
No, that was very clear.
Thanks for playing our game. Can you do it one more time? Marco! Who are we talking with? Do you know who we're here to try to contact tonight? Did it just say it? Can you repeat that name? I want to make sure I'm not thinking I'm hearing you say it when you're not.
I heard Joan.
All right, we're going to keep walking. If you want us to stop, just say the word stop, okay? Man, is it cold up here?
Yeah.
Can you see where you're going?
I'm feeling it out with my head.
That's probably not a good thing. Marco! All right, we're going to hang out in here for a few minutes. How's that? Who's the famous person that used to go to church here? The man? What's the man's name? I heard it.
Okay.
I heard it. It sounded like it said Jim.
Ooh, that gave me chills.
So this right here is where it's interesting, because now we're getting through the spirit box the name Jim, the man, and as you can hear, these are all really clear. Like, this is not us just thinking that we're getting something that we're really not. This is pretty clear as day. Let's loop it again so you can hear it. Who's the famous person that used to go to church here? The man.
The man.
What's the man's name? So a couple things could be happening here. The first thing is it could be maybe a spirit is saying this because it wants to get a rise out of us, because they know flat out why we're here. We've been saying the name Jim Jones all night long. But the second reason it might be is, what if we are getting closer to getting Jim to come out and communicate for himself? Marco!
Oh, no.
Was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Stop doing that. Oh, that's a step. Marco! Actually, if we're both going to sit in the pews, we could probably put the camera on here and aim it as long as we're in frame.
Oh, are we sitting in the pews?
Yeah, we can. I want to try something first, though.
Oh, okay. Oh, does Scott know how to play the piano?
Nope. I don't know how to play this. Can someone come out and teach us how to play? What key do I start Oh Holy Night with? It's remote control to something.
Hey, did you just hear that?
Yeah, thump. That way. Let's go check it out. It's remote control to something.
Hey, did you just hear that?
Yeah, thump. I'm gonna peek my head outside. There's nobody out here, it's quiet. I don't think it came from outside.
No.
I wonder if there's a way to get to the bell tower.
What would be on the other side? Shh. I heard that too.
What the hell was it? Dude, there's all sorts of weird sounds going in this place.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing he did cite. A lot of weird noises here.
Every so often, we get some cool evidence that happens when we're not currently rolling cameras. So Rex and I had just decided that we were going to go ahead and take a bathroom break and go ahead and finish snacking and plan out our next steps for the night. So we shut off the main camera, and thankfully, we had a static camera in that room, and I was still rocking my point of view camera that was going while I was walking around. It ends up catching this really loud bang. What's that? Hello? Are you rolling the camera? Rolling the camera. So you guys missed it. Right as we were just walking into that room for our break, we heard a loud slam right out here in this hall, in this room. So now we're trying to figure out what it might have been. We know that camera got it though. Those were already open. Hello? Are you trying to get our attention? Give us a loud bang wherever you're at. We'll come visit. Is there a noise over here? There's something weird going on here.
What we're going to be trying right now, guys, is we're going to take two of our favorite techniques and we're actually going to combine them, marry them, so to speak. What we're going to do, we are going to take the Estes session and Marco Polo, basically, and combine them. So Scott here
I don't know if they saw me waving or not.
going to be plugging in, and he's not going to have a blindfold on for obvious reasons, but
I don't want to fall and go boom.
we're going to start at the front of the building, and then Scott is going to start kind of walking around and just feel his way out. And as he's walking, I'm going to ask questions, and we're going to see if we can't get something rolling.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go to sweep speed of 150. At this point, I can't even hear myself talk, so if I'm yelling, I apologize. I will try not to yell too badly into my mic. I'm going to try not to look you too much in the face so I can't see your lips. Stupid. Stay there.
Where do you want us to go back to?
Cleveland. Right there.
Ooh, I just got some chills. Scott, I think, is actually
Silent.
follow him.
Maybe. Bad.
What's bad or who?
Work. Jim Jones. That was clear.
Who? So why was Jim Jones bad?
He is. Trouble. Headache.
Who's trouble? Up in the attic, this is where this image of supposedly Jim Jones was caught, his visage. So this was definitely a place we needed to go. During the roaming Estes, we're up in the attic, and we go through the left door and the right door, and we're kind of back in these little alcoves around the room up here. Mind you, creepy as hell. Looks like something you would see in a horror movie. But we're back there, asking questions, going through the Estes, and we get out, leave.
Mike, believe me, he do. It was his own. Stop. Really loud. Like a man, stop!
Why do you want us to stop? Or are you talking to the other people that are here?
God can't stop it.
Oh, that's ominous as
Leave. Woman's voice screaming, leave. Both of you.
You know what? We're just up here asking questions. We're being polite. And this is one of those questions that have kind of plagued me for a while. Why do we always get these? My train of thought typically is, we're kind of going into their space, and if some big dude comes in my space and is, what are you doing here? Is there anybody there, asking these questions over and over again? I'm not going to be super happy about it. Well, answer one question for me and we'll leave. What was the name of the man who is infamous from here?
Sorry. Why? Really clear why.
So
That's a light bulb.
So what we're trying to do, think of us kind of like newspaper reporters or documentary makers.
Maybe.
And we want to answer questions. So if you can give me that answer, I'll make sure that we leave.
That one hurt.
Okay.
Andrew. That was clear.
No, it wasn't Andrew.
Hit him in the balls. Slowly.
Do you want us to hit Andrew in the balls? After that, we're kind of making our way out, and we hear Andrew's name, which used to be one of our partners, and he left not long ago to go pursue his dreams and go to college. We're like, oh, Andrew's name. That's kind of cool. What about Andrew? And he goes, hit him in the balls. I go, you want us to hit Andrew in the balls? Like, what kind of response is that? I still don't even know how to necessarily process that. But this kind of goes back to one thing I said a few episodes ago. Is something kind of following us? Are we even talking to something here? Why would something at a church in Indiana know about Andrew who investigated with us? Is it a different Andrew?
Where are you going now?
We're just trying to walk around and find you.
Don't leave.
Well, we're not leaving anytime soon.
Don't.
During this roaming Estes, we eventually find ourselves in this little room off the beaten path a little bit. And it doesn't look like anything crazy would happen in here, but things started kind of popping off, activity ramping up. And as a little bit of payback, for once I was like, hey, you should pull on Scott's hoodie. Don't do it enough to hurt him, but do it enough to scare him. Because mind you guys, every investigation, it seems like every time that I'm in an Estes, touch Rex, grab him. And then little ghost kids come and touch me and it creeps me out and I gotta act like I'm a big man and not scared. So I was like, pull on Scott's hoodie. No sooner than I said that, within seconds it seemed, he says he felt like he was being pulled into the corner. Well, can you do me a favor? I know it's gonna sound crazy, but his hoodie, his jacket, can you tug on the collar or like on the hood, just gently? Just enough to let him know that you're there.
I feel dizzy for a second.
He'll think it's cool.
That was weird.
Or just shot.
Like a split second, like dizzy spell just hit me.
Okay, you're interacting with Scott.
I feel like I'm like leaning and falling backwards like that. It's weird. I better not get Krampus into this goddamn wall. Like it literally feels like I'm being like pulled back like this. Like I almost want to fall over backward. Angry as I want to be at Rex for asking to pull on the hood, like to be honest, I do it to everybody else so much that I can't cast stones. Like I do this to everybody all the time. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that, how dare you do this to me? If anything, I was really excited when I found out about it because as we're doing this roaming Estes, I don't have a blindfold on so I can see, and I'm trying to like deliberately position myself so I can't see Rex because I don't want to react to what he's doing because I don't want it to, influence what I was getting through my headphones. But then I start feeling like I was getting pulled back into the wall, and I actually end up doing a take like this, like what the hell was that? And I didn't really feel like anything was tugging on me. Like I didn't feel like anything grabbed me. It just felt like it felt kind of like that vacuum, like you were just being sucked back. And for whatever reason, it really wanted me in the corner of this room. And I saw some spider webs in that corner of the room, and spiders and I, we don't get along. We have like this tenuous truce. Like if I encounter them outside, it's okay. But inside it's World War III, like you're dead if I catch you inside my house or inside of any place that I'm at. So it definitely, to try to avoid conflicts, I was trying to stay out of that corner as much as I could. But something in this building really wanted me to go into that corner, and I don't know why. You're smiling, so I'm assuming you told them to make me feel like that, in which case, screw you. But it literally feels like I'm like pulling back. Like nothing's like touching me. It just feels like my whole body wants to fall backward.
Oh, that's so cool. I can't wait to tell him.
Back. Woman's voice just said back.
Yes. Thank you.
You better not be moving me into spider webs, lady.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you guys so much.
Again, I feel like I'm getting pulled back again.
You don't have to keep doing that.
That's such a weird ass feeling. I'm going to stand over here. I want to see if I feel it over here. I feel like I'm leaning this way. I don't know. Does the floor slant? It literally feels like I'm like something is like trying to pull me into that corner. It is so weird. It's like I just want to go running right into that corner.
What's over in the corner behind me?
This room feels really freaky all of a sudden.
And see, like, I'm not really feeling too much.
That's her fault.
Oh. Is she trying to put Scott in the corner?
She's my mom.
Okay. Well, what's your mom doing to try to get Scott in that corner?
She died in here.
Oh.
Like that was really, really clear. Like really, really clear.
Was it in the corner?
Nathan? Sick. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
Those are the first male voices I've heard in here.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Come here, sweetie.
Bunch of
Whoa.
bouncing off Scott.
That's a woman's voice I didn't like.
No mind the
Evening.
dust, but
That was a new voice. Leave him here.
I'm not gonna leave Scott.
You heard me. Do it.
I'm not gonna.
The one.
I'm not leaving my friend.
I'm gonna get out of this room. This room makes me feel weird. Like I feel like off balance in this room. She said, come back. I feel really weird walking away. I feel lightheaded.
Alrighty, guys. So we were just kind of packing up, and me and Scott were sitting here discussing, potential one more patrol, one more experiment, and what we had decided to do, being that this was Jim Jones' original church where he had attended while he was growing up, we figured that we would play some of the recordings from the Jonestown incident. We're doing this from a historical point of view, so we want to see if those voices and him talking could stir something up here. So right now we're gonna head up to the chapel, do our final patrol, and then wrap up for the night. So
when you have the opportunity to play this for the supposed audience, being the guy who did this entire thing, the guy who made the orders that led to all these deaths on this day, it adds that extra emphasis, because it's like, now I really want to drive the point home that I want you to hear for yourself what it is you did. My question now isn't, why did you do it? My question is, do you feel any regret for what you did?
Not only we're in a compound situation.
This is Jim Jones's voice. This is the little boy who used to attend church here, leading the murder of over 900 people. This is the actual recording of these people taking their lives because of Jim Jones. Jim, if you'd like to come out and explain yourself, this is your opportunity. Listen to what you did.
If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace.
Give me a second.
and I do invite anyone who was affected or knows someone who is affected, feel free to step forward and speak your piece.
But we tried, and this Jack beamed off and said, I don't know where he's at right this moment. Where's Jack? He said, if this only worked one day, it was worthwhile. What's going to happen here in a matter of a few minutes is that one of those people on that plane is going to shoot the pilot. I know that. I didn't plan it, but I know it's going to happen. They're going to shoot that pilot, and down comes that plane into the jungle. And we had better not have any of our children left when it's over, because they'll parachute in here on us. I'm telling you just as plain as I know how to tell you. I've never lied to you. I never have lied to you. I know that's what's going to happen. That's what it intends to do. Pressure's on my brain seeing all these people behave so treasonous. It was just too much for me to put together, but I now know what he was telling me, and it'll happen. If the plane gets in the air even. So my opinion is that we be kind to children and be kind to seniors and take the portion like they used to take in ancient Greece and step over quietly, because we are not committing suicide. It's a revolutionary act. We can't go back. They won't leave us alone. They're now going back to tell more lies, which means more congressmen, and there's no way we can survive.
Jim, if you're here, what is it like to hear your murder of over 900 people? Maybe.
Let's say bastard.
Maybe. Do you want to hear more of this recording? Yeah. Would anyone else like to share what they think about this recording? And about Jim Jones's murder? You say murder?
No, that's not what I thought. So I have a question. This is for Jim if you're here. How does it make you feel to know the impact you had on those people's life?
400. 400.
Try 900. Over 900 people lost their life that day. Now, it could just be weird. Do you notice the one voice that keeps trying to come through? I'm not going to say anything, but...
There's definitely a common voice.
Okay. Does it sound like a certain voice to you?
I don't know, but it's definitely the same voice.
Okay.
Do you want to hear more of this? It does kind of sound like.
So I'm not like crazy.
No.
So we start listening to the Jonestown Massacre and it's playing, and we've got the spirit box going, when all of a sudden Rex and I look at each other because we could swear up and down. It literally sounds like Jim Jones' voice comes out of our spirit box. The reason why that's significant is, again, if you remember my explanation of a spirit box, it's an AM/FM radio. No one is going to be playing the Jonestown Massacre on AM/FM radio. There's no way in God's green earth that the FCC would let that happen. But now here we are getting it. So we're going to loop it again so you guys can hear it. Let us know what you think down in the comments, because we do have the Jonestown Massacre playing at the same time we're doing the spirit box session. So could it be Rex and I are mistaking the one recording for the other? Yes, it is possible. We don't think so.
It does kind of sound like.
So I'm not like crazy.
No.
The one like persistent voice. Let me ask, have you ever actually listened to all this?
Yep.
Other than when it happened, and really let it sink in.
Jim, that was cool.
Is that why you're still here? Are you afraid of what's going to happen to you when you go to the other side and you face judgment? Yeah. Your ass is worried about that, isn't it? That's because you know what you did was wrong. I want to give you all a sincere apology. I want to apologize that a place, a house of the Lord, a town of Lynn, Ohio, is now become associated with the behaviors and decisions of an egomaniac with a drug problem. I am sorry that this is part of the legacy that you unfortunately carry with you from here on out. That the Jim Jones Church, and the reason people like us are going to be coming here, is because of the legacy of what this man did. He is not the only history of this building. So when you have people like us come, and there will be more of us, I promise you that, I want to implore you and ask you to come out and give your stories. Give us your names. Tell us about you.
because you are also the history and the legacy of not just this church, but this town. So I apologize if we did not spend enough time tonight trying to meet you. That's all I wanted to add. I will turn this back on. Rex, do you want to add anything before I turn this back on?
Don't really know how to follow that up, but your guys' voice and what you have to say is more important, in my opinion, than that. Because the people that were here, their stories, this town's legacy should be more than one man who led people astray. Each of your stories are the reason I do this. I want to preserve those stories. And without people like you, and that's, in my opinion, that's what you guys are. You're people with stories who had lives, who still have some kind of life. Share that story, embrace it. Don't let this be remembered as the place that Jim Jones went to church when he was a kid. Let this be a place that is remembered because there are people here who have stories, who have a voice, and who will speak. Because I believe you guys are better than that. My closing thoughts on the Jim Jones Church. This place is really a mixed bag, to be honest. You have some of the most darkest negative emotions and things that a man did. Mind you, it didn't happen here, but it's still connected to him. But at the same time, you have a place that stands for hope and love and compassion for so many other people. So you really have this melting pot of extreme emotions on two different ends coming together in one place. It's hard to explain what I was expecting out of this church, but it's easy to say how it made me feel at the end of the night. It made me feel like there's hope, that we can have an impact on these places, that we can have an impact on these spirits. And above all else, that we can help. If I can have another investigation like this where I leave feeling like I helped the spirits there, then that makes my job complete.
In the end, the question that I think Rex and I are going to get the most about this investigation is, do you think that Jim Jones is actually here? And unfortunately, the revelation I had while we were up in the chapel doing our experiment with the Jonestown recordings is, I think answering that question is a double-edged sword. Because if I say yes, then people are going to ignore the other potential spirits that are here and ignore the other activity and legacy and history that this building has to offer. You know, we're now in the year 2024. Jim Jones hasn't been a part of this church since before the 1950s. That's a long time that all sorts of different things happen in this church that were probably very inspiring and very positive that most people aren't ever going to focus on because Jim Jones is associated with this location. So I would strongly encourage anybody who wants to come to this location, you need to look past this man and his legacy to find out the real truth of what's going on in this building. This building, this town, and everybody associated with it is so much bigger than Jim Jones that I think you're going to do yourself and research a disservice by focusing only on this wacko and what he did.
And as always, guys, thanks for checking us out. If you could like, share, and subscribe, it is always a huge help. Also, make sure to check out one of our other videos floating around somewhere here. Have a great day.